Talk about, at least I've been in the club, it'll be 2 years in October, so she's been the subject of many of my speeches. You should almost just about kind of know her from the way that I talk about her. I've talked about how she didn't like roller coasters, and I've talked a little bit about her journey, but today you're actually going to hear it from her own mouth. You're going to hear her journey through life. It's been an honor and a privilege to be able to, be the parent of someone who's actually not given up on their goals. It's so easy just to sit back and say, I've had enough of that. But to actually know someone who has actually gone forward and persevered with their dreams is a story that everyone needs to hear. So, without further ado, it is my honor to present to you Ms. Heather Wells, Miss Ohio 2013.
And fellow Toastmasters, thank you for having me. It's great to be able to dust off the old crown here. And you're probably wondering, well, Miss Ohio, why aren't you wearing your crown? I actually can no longer wear my crown in public again. So once you crown your successor and you move on with your life, you're no longer allowed to publicly wear your crown again. However, that can't stop me from wearing the crown in my living room and answering the door when the UPS guy comes, so sorry, I have my crown on. But I really wanted to share with you my passion for the Miss America organization, the journey that it took me on, and my 6 tries for the crown. So just a little bit of background about the Miss America organization. It is the largest provider of scholarship dollars for young women in the world. It provides over $45 million in scholarships each year to women pursuing higher education. And often the Miss America organization is confused with another, I should say, infamous pageant, the Miss USA pageant. I kind of describe it as white toast and wheat toast, or Coke and Pepsi, or Star Wars and Star Trek. They all have similarities, but actually really, really different when you look at them. The Miss America organization is not only a scholarship program, it's also a nonprofit organization, and it focuses on a well-rounded woman, a woman that is focused with a platform. Each contestant has a personal platform that they've chosen, a cause that they support and promote throughout their time competing in the organization. We also have a talent portion of the competition. I like to say that the Miss America contestants actually have talent. Now, the Miss USA girls, they probably have talent too. But we focus on talent is a large part of our score. And growing up as a competitive dancer, this organization provided an outlet for me to continue dancing. Especially after high school, often many girls don't continue to dance, and it's a struggle to find a venue and an opportunity to perform, and this organization did provide that for me. So combined with the scholarship dollars it provides, it's nonprofit, and the talent and interview and the platform, that's what sets aside the Miss America organization from any other pageant out there. There's so many little pageants, but the Miss America organization is the standout, it's the original. And in fact, a little bit of a backstory, the Miss America pageant started in the 20s on the boardwalk of Atlantic City in New Jersey as a swimsuit competition to bring tourists to the boardwalk at the end of the summer in September. After many, many years of Miss America being crowned in a swimsuit, because it was put on by the swimsuit company, one Miss America said, you know what, I don't want to be crowned in my swimsuit, I want to be crowned in an evening gown. And the pageant said, you know what, you are right. This is not a piece of meat, this is a woman who has dreams and goals, and she should be crowned in an evening gown. And the swimsuit company said, no, wait a minute, we want her crowned in a swimsuit because we want to sell swimsuits. And the Miss America pageant said no, she'll be crowned in an evening gown from here on out. The swimsuit company said fine, we're going to start our own pageant. And they started Miss USA. So that's how the pageants came about. And both are wonderful organizations, actually. Pageantry is often confused. It's often seen in a negative light. Some people don't understand its relevancy any longer, but pageantry is really the best self-improvement program for young women in the world. So when I started competing, I was 17 years old and still a senior in high school. I went to high school classes every day, was thinking about going to Youngstown State that fall, and I was looking for an opportunity to help pay for my college education. Coming from a single-parent family, college is expensive, and so I thought I need to find an opportunity to help foot some of this bill and lower my amount of debt coming out of college. So I found the Miss America organization. I happened to be at an event honoring young leaders in the community, and Miss Ohio 2006 was the guest speaker. She also happened to be a dancer, which never happens. Dancers tend to have a more difficult time winning the pageant just because some people just don't get dance. So I was so excited to meet Miss Ohio 2006, and I thought, I think I could be Miss Ohio. I want to dance and I want to win some scholarship money for school. So she said, go online, look up how to enter the pageant. So I entered my first pageant. In high school, I was very active on the speech and debate team. It was what I was extremely passionate about. I lived for speech and debate. It's all I could think about. It's all I wanted to do. And I had recently, in that time, won the opportunity to go to the National Forensics League tournament in Wichita, Kansas. But the NFL, often confused with a different NFL, the National Forensics League is like the Miss America speech and debate. So the best and brightest speakers in high school in the country make it to this tournament. And I had that opportunity as a senior. And so I thought, I'm a great speaker, I love to talk, I got the dance thing down, I'm going to win this pageant, no problem. I'm going to go to Miss Ohio and probably going to win that too. So I go in there thinking I got it all sewn up. I show up, there's probably 10 girls in the pageant. I think I came in last place, like dead last, had no idea what I was doing, had all the wrong things. The swimsuit was all wrong. I wore my dress from homecoming my freshman year. That was all wrong, apparently. I went into the interview, thought I had it sewn up, got a little bit nervous, asked me questions that I had no idea. Apparently there was another Heather in the pageant, and they got us confused. They asked me a bunch of questions about that Heather, and she had a parent in the military, and they were drilling me on military questions, and I was just a mess. I had no idea what I was doing. Needless to say, I did not even make it to Miss Ohio that year. So I came back the following year with a more level head. I now know that I was not going to win just with that attitude. I had to really focus and work from the inside out. And that's what I mean when I say pageantry is the best self-improvement program for young women. It focuses you to look at every aspect of your life and who you are and improve upon those points. And that's what this organization did for me. And so that first year in 2008, I did win a title, and I made it to Miss Ohio. So you do have to win a local title first to even make it to the pageant. So at the pageant, you don't have a winner from a group of representatives. You have a representative from a group of winners, because to even make it, you have to be a winner. So it's an exciting, exciting event. So I competed at Miss Ohio 2008, didn't make top 10. My first year, I was like, okay, now I know what to expect next time. Come back the next year, I made top 10, I'm feeling pretty good, I'm seeing steady increases of improvement. And so my third year I come back, and typically a Miss Ohio will win on her second or third try. So coming back on my third try, I thought, this is it. This is my year to win. It's my third try. I invested in the right dress. I had the right talent. I was working out real hard to get ready for the swimsuit. I thought my interview was stellar. I was like, this is my year. I'm going to win. And they announced the top 10, and I was still standing on the stage, not in the top 10. And I was devastated. I was shocked. I don't know where I went wrong. Still to this day, I'm a little scratching my head. And I really had a step back. I really was dropped down a peg. And that's when I realized that this journey is more about focusing on your inner self than just the competition. I was too focused on being the best on stage and not the best from the inside out. I then started to reevaluate myself a little bit more, started to focus a little bit more inward as well. Came back on my 4th try, so now I'm one of these senior veterans in the competition, and a lot of the people in the pageant world tend to talk, can easily put you down. A lot of naysayers, a lot of people that, a lot of jealousy, a lot of bitterness. And so now people are saying, oh, Heather's been competing for 4 years, can barely make the top 10. She should just hang it up. Like, go home, don't come back, drive home safely. And that 4th year I came back, and I was real nervous because the year before I thought I did great. I didn't make the top 10. So I come back this 4th year, got things going on, feel pretty good. I go to my interview and I just bombed the interview. An interview was what I loved. And I just couldn't get my words out right. I was stumbling over my words. I was tripping over my speech. I was nervous. I was sweaty. And it just didn't go well for me. And I thought, well, great. Now I'm not going to make the top 10 again. However, to my surprise, when they announced the top 10 that year, I was in it. And I was just so happy to be in the top 10. I wasn't even upset that I didn't win or make the top 5. I was just happy to feel back on my feet. So I felt that I had the validation I needed to continue my journey. So now, entering my 5th year, I said, this is it, because you only get 6 years to compete. The pageant ranges from ages 18 to 24, and at age 24, they politely ask you to move on with your life. And I just felt that competing in my last year of age eligibility would just be way too much pressure. This was something that I would dream about, think about all the time. I felt that I could really make an impact as Miss Ohio. And so my 5th year, I come back, I really have now reevaluated to the core. I even changed my platform to talk about a personal issue that's really hard for a lot of people to talk about. That was divorce. I made my platform divorce recovery for youth. So I focused on helping children overcoming the obstacles of understanding a parent's divorce. And it was an issue that no girl had ever gone there before. Most of the platforms are very noble, but they're focused on topics that are more uplifting, to be honest. A lot of the girls are focused on maybe breast cancer awareness, or they focused on equal opportunities for autistic children, or disabilities, and encouraging others, and volunteering. And my platform was talking about an extreme issue in our country, and I think it kind of perked people up, and I thought, this is it. This year is finally the year that I'm going to win. I had everything right. I had never won a preliminary award, so in 5 years of competing, nothing. And this year I won the swimsuit award, and my interview went great. I had the new platform, I had the right dress, and they were announcing the runners-up, and they announced it from 10 girls. So they announced the 4th runner-up, 3rd, 2nd, 1st runner-up. So there were 6 girls remaining on the stage, and I was still one of them, meaning that my name could be called out as Miss Ohio 2012. And I was standing there, and the girls who weren't in the top 10 were standing on like platforms behind me, and they were even whispering, "Oh my God, it's Heather. Heather did it, she won." And I'm sitting there like, they're gonna call out my number, I'm about to win, and then the announcer said, "Your new Miss Ohio 2012 is contestant number 25. That wasn't my number. And I was very happy for the young woman that won, because she was a good friend. And I have to say, every Miss Ohio that has preceded me and succeeded me has been just an incredible individual inside and out. And so the only consolation to not winning was how wonderful the new Miss Ohio was. But in my heart, I was so sad, because out of 5 years of competing, never even made the top 5. Barely could make the top 10, won a preliminary just one time. And some girls, you should know, come every year, they're always top 5. They're always preliminary winners. And so now the naysayers are laughing at me real good. They're saying, wow, 5 years and nothing, can't make the top 5, barely can win a preliminary. Wow, you really should just move on with your life, Heather. And so I was, for the first time ever, after the pageant, incredibly discouraged. Didn't think I could go on, didn't want to go on, didn't think that competing in my last year of age eligibility was going to be a good idea. I'd seen it time and time again. Girls come back in their last year of their eligibility and they just blow it. They're too nervous, too much pressure, too much riding on it, or they're first runner-up. They get so close, but yet you're still so far away. And so I thought, no way, not going back, don't want to do it, I'm done. And I normally never have that attitude, and I really was done. I just couldn't do it again. And so the pageant was starting to roll around, and I was convinced by friends, family, directors to just win a local preliminary one more time and just go, because you have all the stuff. You already have all the dresses, you have a dance, just go and try it, just for fun, just one last go around. I said, okay, well, I'll go. I'm not going to try. I'm just going to go and see how much more scholarship money I can build up and move on with my life. So the pageant rolls around, and it's about 3 months to the pageant. And now normally, I'm preparing 12 months out of the year. As soon as Miss Ohio ends in June, in July, I'm back on it. I'm researching, I'm studying, I'm growing, I'm thinking, I'm moving, I'm doing stuff. And so for this year, entering 2013, I was like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not going to try. I'm done. I'm hanging it up. I'm just going to go, win some money for school, and just move on. And it's about 3 months out, so I've done no preparations for 9 months. And I was like, you know what? I would be so mad at myself. Like, what am I doing? I'd be so mad at myself if I went this last time and didn't try. I would look back 10 years later and think, if I had tried, would I have actually won? Would my life be different? And it would have been so different, because the last 3 months I kicked my butt into gear. I got a really good book called The Charisma Myth. If you don't own it, you should buy it. It's the greatest thing ever. I think it's why I won Miss Ohio. And I read this book, and it really, really spoke to me. And I got it together. I approached the pageant completely differently. I didn't care what the naysayers said. For the first time ever, I wasn't concerned with the other girls. How was so-and-so's evening gown? What was her talent like? Does she look really skinny this year? I was just focused on me. And I had never approached the pageant that way. And so I was confident, I was cool as a cucumber, and I said, you know what? Honestly, I don't have anything to lose, because either I win or I don't. I mean, life goes on, the world still turns. So I go into my 6th year and my final year of competition, and everybody, no one thinks I can do it. But I was just there to have a good time and enjoy myself and only focus on me. And sure enough, competition begins, my interview goes well, I don't overthink it, I usually always overthink it. And I just continued on throughout my week, focusing on myself. Competition is over, we're on stage for awards, and I win the swimsuit award. Okay, great. I won that last year, so glad to keep it going. And then I win the overall talent award. I've never won overall talent. Dancers never win overall talent. And I was like, wow, the judges must have really liked my performance. And then I win the overall interview award, which I've never won overall interview. And the pageant is often won in the interview room. The judges like you from the moment they meet you. They're going to like you throughout the rest of the competition. So I've won every phase of competition, and I am sure that I've won. But the year prior, I had an awful moment where I thought I had won and I didn't. So I didn't want to believe that I had won. So again, it's from 10 girls. They announced 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st runner-up. And I'm still up there. There's 6 girls, and I'm still up there. And the girl next to me says, Heather, you clearly won. You won all the preliminaries. You won all the phases of competition. You're still up here, and they've announced all the runner-ups. Just like, you've won. I'm sitting up there, I was like, nope, I don't know anything until they announce it, because last year, I thought I'd won, and I didn't. And sure enough, the announcer says, your Miss Ohio 2013 is Heather Wells, and I couldn't believe it. And you would think after 6 years of competing and trying and wanting to be Miss Ohio so badly, that I would have practiced a reaction, I would have been in the mirror and had a nice reaction or something. No reaction. I just got pale, almost fainted, and everybody thought I was going to throw up. Didn't throw up, didn't faint, I was fine. The girl next to me, thank God she was there, because if she wasn't, I probably would have fainted and fallen on the ground. She caught me, she was holding me, she's like, you won, you did it. And sure enough, my friend from the year before who had won put the crown on my head, and I took my first walk, and I couldn't believe it, but I was so ready. And I thought, gosh, why 6 years? And you know what? Every year that I competed, I grew a little bit more, and I just wasn't ready, and the timing was excellent. The timing was perfect. I was the first Miss Ohio to go back to Atlantic City in 8 years. The pageant had moved to Vegas for a few years, wasn't working out, went back to its original home of Atlantic City, New Jersey, and we were welcomed with open arms, given tons of gifts and free things, and it was outstanding, and the timing was impeccable, and I was ready for it. And I had the most incredible years, Miss Ohio, because I was expecting it. I was prepared. And the program changed my life in so many ways. First and foremost, I won more than $30,000 in scholarship money that paid for my school. I made friendships that last a lifetime. My roommate at Miss Ohio was a really nice girl. We really got along well, had so much fun. And creeping on her Facebook, I saw this cute guy in all of her pictures. I thought it was her boyfriend. I said, oh, your boyfriend is so cute. She says, that's my brother, that's not my boyfriend. And I was like, oh, that's really embarrassing now. I was going to give her a compliment on her boyfriend. So, of course, she tells her brother, oh, Miss Ohio thinks you're cute. And sure enough, started actually dating. And in September, we're getting married. And and the friendships I made. So, I mean, it's the gift that really keeps giving. Most of my bridal party are other Miss Ohios. They always say that those girls end up in your wedding, and it's completely true. So the program has really changed me from being a goofy, awkward 17-year-old kid to being a woman that's now working professionally, ready to get married, and take everything that I learned from the program and apply that to real life. And that's what it is. It's a great transition opportunity for young women. So I wanted to show you the crown, the object that took me 6 years to obtain. This is the Miss Ohio crown, so I can't wear it, but I can hold it and display it. And you'll notice that there are 4 points to the crown. They each stand and represent something. Style, success, scholarship, and service. And that's what the Miss America organization is about. That's what makes us stand out from any other type of pageant or competition. It's about self-improvement and self-development, and it prepares you to be a professional woman, a working woman, a wife, a mother one day. And because of this program, I'm excited to do that. And if I didn't persevere through those 6 years, even the years that it felt impossible to go back, if I didn't persevere and continue to grow and to continue to fight for my dream and what I just knew that I needed to do, I wouldn't have had the most incredible and life-changing moments. I wouldn't have won the money that I did that paid for my school. I wouldn't have made the friends that I did. I wouldn't have had the experiences at Miss America. I probably wouldn't have met my future husband even. And the program is essential to young women who want to take that avenue to develop themselves further. And so during that last year of competing, when I really was trying to find the motivation and drive to continue after my dream, I came across this quote that is just wonderful, and I always share it with people. So I want to leave you with this morning. And it's a quote about perseverance. So, a river cuts through rock, not because of its strength, but because of its perseverance. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
And I can attest, I can actually go back and I can see it in pictures. I can look at Heather, when she, that very first year at Miss Ohio, and then I can look at pictures as you progress, and you can actually see the growth.
All right, Heather, I've got to ask you this because your mom and you just talked about your first pageant.
Yeah.
Miss Campfield Fair.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit of how that went for you.
Oh my gosh, so I was 3 years old. It was the Tiny Miss Canfield Fair pageant. It was a hot day, and the dress that my mom had for me was a very itchy dress. At 3 years old, I did not like itchy dresses, would not wear them, and I had been doing some fashion shows previously, and I loved modeling on stage, but it was just for exhibition, no pressure, just for fun. And so my mom said, well, this is just a fashion show, and for fashion shows I'd wear an itchy dress because I knew it would just be itchy for just a minute. So I was like, fine, I'll wear the itchy dress because it's a fashion show. So I go out, I do my fashion show modeling bit, and I wave, I blow a kiss, I tell the crowd I love you, and sure enough, all the girls go and do their routine. And the next thing I know, so then your winner is Heather Wells, and they put a crown and sash on me and hand me a trophy. I'm standing there on stage with my hands on my hips. I said, Mom, you tricked me. This was a pageant. It wasn't a fashion show. And my mom said, but you won. And then I had a big grin on my face, and I haven't stopped since. So.
All right, awesome. Now, we just heard your story a little bit. What kept you, in just kind of brief term, what kind of kept you going for Miss Ohio?
I think there is just a fire inside that I had burning, because I knew that this opportunity could lead to so many future opportunities, but more importantly with my platform, Divorce Recovery for Youth, focusing on being that voice for children who have parents going through a divorce and they're struggling with just the obstacles of life and understanding that was really what kept me motivated, because I knew that this opportunity as Miss Ohio would be my soapbox and my platform to reach thousands and thousands of children across the state and across the nation and share my story and inspire them to maybe they can be Miss Ohio one day or go on to be the President of the United States because they felt that they were inspired from a young age to motivate themselves and go after their dreams. So that was what kept me going, and I was glad I kept at it because it did pay off, and I had that opportunity, and I still do, to speak to people and children especially and reach them in a really positive light.
All right, let's talk a little about the book that you talked about, The Charisma. It's
called The Charisma Myth.
Okay.
It's by a woman, I believe, named Olivia Fox, and it's just an excellent book. It's funny, it's an easy read, it's not super long. It's just about all the different forms of charisma and how that's a great way to reach people on every level. There's different types of charisma, and she describes them very well. You kind of find the one that fits best with your own self and personality, and there's techniques, and I was finding myself being very nervous when it came to public speaking because I wanted to just do such a good job that I was getting too worked up over it, and I was letting the fear and the anxiety of the unknown overtake my ability to just speak well to the audience. And after I read this book, I found that confidence again, and then I turned around and I won Miss Ohio, and I spent that year traveling, making more than 260 appearances, and that book is what gave me the tools and the tricks to present myself well and have a great year.
All right. Well, tell me something about the Tough Mudder. Give me, because it's kind of like Miss Ohio gets tough and dirty. Why'd you do that?
So the Miss Ohio pageant takes place in Mansfield. It's a tradition. It's been there for decades. And Tough Mudder travels the entire country. In fact, it travels internationally. And for some reason, when Tough Mudder comes to Ohio, they go to Mansfield. And it's 13 miles long. The mud comes up to your knees, and you're just trekking through mud, and every probably half mile, there's an obstacle that you have to do. It was by far the most physically challenging thing I've ever done. It was, again, just a testament of determination. There are moments where I was like, I am done, I'm turning around. There was gators running around. If somebody wanted out, they could, get a ride back, but I just saw people going back, and I thought, no, that is not going to be me. I'm going to finish this thing. But every obstacle was a true mental mindset testament, actually. So it was more about a mindset. And there was this one obstacle, it was called the Arctic Enema, and it was a giant, like big pool of ice cold water, and I mean ice cold. They were dumping bags of ice into the water. There were ice cubes in the water, and at one point you have to jump into this pool of ice water, and you have to swim under this beam, swim all the way underneath, and you come back up on the other side. And when you come up out of the ice water, I mean, you're completely disoriented. I came up and like everything was black. I couldn't see anything. I didn't know where I was. Completely disoriented, and everyone's so encouraging. It's the coolest thing you'll ever see. If you couldn't know the person from Adam, and everyone's encouraging, like, come on, this way. We'll help you. We'll help you. So
yeah.
I heard voices, and I swam over there, and I got pulled out of the ice tub. And that day I did the Tough Mudder. It was probably only about like 60, 65 degrees. So jumping in ice water at about 60 degrees on a cloudy day was not fun. It was hard to get warmed up, and that was about mile 6. So I still had about 7 miles to go. And at the time, my boyfriend ran the Tough Mudder with me, and after the Tough Mudder, he decided that he wanted to take the next step to propose. So I didn't know at the time. He proposed a few months later, but after the Tough Mudder, he was like, yeah, after that I gotta marry this girl. So Tough Mudder was a crazy event. I want to do it again, but I don't want to do it again, but we'll see.
I got you. One final question. What would you say to anyone out there with a dream of anything?
Yeah, you got to go for it. You can't accomplish it unless you go for it. And once you invest, you got to go all in. You got to legitimately go big or go home. Invest everything you have, all of yourself, because the reward is so great. And even if you never achieve what you set out to achieve, you'll look back and realize the experiences that you had and the improvement that you made and the personal growth and the personal development. There's no losing when you try, and you will gain something if you have a good work ethic, a positive attitude, and a good mindset. You will see success, and you'll be rewarded.
Here's another question. You were on the speech team. Is this one of your first times seeing a Toastmaster meeting?
This is my first Toastmaster meeting ever. Definitely not my last. I now reside in the Westerville area, suburb of Columbus, and the first thing I do when I get home, I am Googling Toastmasters near me. I'm signing up. I was in theater growing up. I loved TNT Playhouse. I did things at the Youngstown Playhouse. I did a lot of acting growing up, so I was comfortable speaking on a stage, but I was portraying a character. And then in high school, I got involved with speech and debate. It helped me grow immensely with speaking and to groups of people. And then from there, I took what I learned there, and I applied it to the Miss America organization, and I had multitudes of opportunities to speak, whether it was an onstage question or the interview room, or a group of students at a school during my year as Miss Ohio. My passion for speaking hasn't stopped or slowed down any whatsoever. Even though I'm a former Miss Ohio now, I still have several speaking engagements. I love it, and I want the speech and debate teams across Ohio to become more prominent. I want Toastmasters across the country to become more prominent. It's an excellent opportunity. It's a great outlet to continue that passion that I have, and I'm not slowing down, so I'm joining, and I'm really pumped about it.